Good morning and welcome to Kramer's Corner with Daily Technical Update. It is Thursday the 20th of February and I do apologize for not recording an update yesterday. I was quite a bit under the weather, but I should be okay now. I didn't die of man flu, so I will continue with these educational videos, and there's no recommendation or advice whatsoever intending doing this. And we'll start with Apple today. That is has bounced quite strongly after this sell-off here, this very bearish candle we saw a few weeks ago. We are just below the cloud, well, not below the cloud, but we are in the cloud, but we haven't closed above. But the key resistance here is 247.19. That is the peak of that candle that day there. So if it can close above that, then it's cancel it, and that will be a very strong signal indeed. The RSI is back above 60 threshold, so there is actually a chance that it could push higher here. A bit of a surprise, I must say, but let's see here the next few days. The S&P 500 closed at an all-time high yesterday and is set to push higher. It looks fairly strong. RSI back above 60 threshold, also supporting it, so we could push towards 6,200. So fairly strong indeed. Let's just add a trend line here. You can see it's actually quite, there we are. So very strong trend at the moment. Nasdaq 100 struggling a little bit, but still pushing higher. RSI above 60 threshold, as we can see here, there is potential to maybe 22,500. So that's also pretty strong. Dow Jones, on the other hand, really struggling, is still in a bearish correction here. However, positive sentiment on the RSI indicating we could see a push to at least 45,000, and if it takes out 45 or 55, then we have a new all-time high there also. European markets, EuroStoxx50 yesterday got hit by heavy sell-off. It was especially in energy and in also some of the pharma stocks and defense stocks. But it was a correction. I warned about it. We could see a correction. I still think this is just a correction. However, we have a top and reversal pattern in place. We have this bearish. We have this doji here. We had a bullish one, we had a negative candle here, and then we have the doji. So we have a doji evening-like pattern. I think we could see a correction down to at least 5,400, maybe a bit lower here in the next couple of days. Will it break below the rising trend line? Still just a guideline. It's not a strong support anyway. So let's keep an eye on that. Pre-market here we are up a little bit, but still we are in a correction phase now before possibly next move. You could see here also heavy sell-off in DAX yesterday, down to support at 22,400, just above it. If it closes this gap area here, well, then there's potential down to 21,800 in that correction. So keep an eye on 22,148. Euro dollar can't really make up its mind. Should I go bullish or shouldn't I go bullish? Back below the 104.50 level, and this 786 retracement got rejected here at 105. Actually, it lost steam just below it, 105.35, and could resume downtrend, but now giving you some support here from the 55 moving average and 104, and then we could be caught in this range round. It will go full bearish again if we get back below 102.70. Cable or sterling yen hovering around 126, just above the cloud area here, but there's positive sentiment on the RSI indicating we could push higher. But we also have the 100 moving average coming down here, kind of putting a lid on it. So it will be interesting here the next few days. Can it actually push up to 127.5, 126? 127, and what do we have here? 128 actually, 127.80 and 128, where we have really strong resistance, where we also have the 200 moving out, or will it start sliding back lower? I think it will push a little bit higher, but it remains to be seen. If it can take out the 100 moving average, then it should. We have the Euro Sterling. Euro Sterling sold off the past few days, stalling a little bit, or taking a breather yesterday, and also today maybe support here at 82.60, 63. If it takes out that, well, then we're looking at 82.25. Lots of movement in the yen pairs. Dollar yen this morning broke below 150.83. Confirming bearish trends after being rejected up here at the 55 moving average and 154.80. Now set for a push down to 148.60, 65, possibly lower. If it takes out that, well, then we're looking at 147.25, possibly lower. Euro yen also pushing lower, has resumed downtrend while I've been away. Currently trading around the 786 retracement at 156.78, but we are in a bearish trend, negative sentiment on the RSI, likely to push lower, and I think shortly we will see 155.59 the lows here being tested. If it takes out that, which is not unlikely, well, then we are likely to push even lower at 154 levels. Aussie yen currently testing 61.8, retracement 95.40 and a change, resuming bearish trend. Negative sentiment on the RSI has always been indicating that we could push lower, and I think in the coming days we also see a push lower to 95, maybe not, and a bit below. Then maybe a correction, and then the next push lower here. To reverse that, 97.35 needs to be taken out to the upside. Yen also sell off the past few days, push lower, and this is what I do. You see we got rejected here at the 786 retracement, 193.15, just below it, and then we can say, okay, that's it, that one, and then we can add a new one and say, okay, this is what we do. Then we can look at these Fibonacci retracement levels. We are currently bouncing around the 61.8, but I think we will spike lower here in the coming days. We were actually spiked lower a little bit this morning, but I think we will push lower to 188.33, which is 786 retracement at least, but possibly lower, since we are in negative sentiment and there's no divergence, indicating likely lower levels. Aussie dollar this morning tested the minor support here at 63.30, and I think we're still pushing higher here to the next few days. We can see positive sentiment on the RSI. I think we are going to look at 64.25 to be tested, and the 100 moving average. Can it break above that and close above the cloud? Well, then there's potential up to around 65.5. The dollar Canada still in the clouds and above the 100 moving average and above support at 141.19. If it can crawl back above 142.61, then I think it could maybe resume uptrend, but still negative sentiment on the RSI. So look out for maybe a push or at least a test of the support. The Sterling Canada has the past few days been fairly muted. RSI still below the 60 threshold, but we have a positive sentiment on it since we were above the 60 threshold here and bounced off the 40. So we're still in positive sentiment and we are above the cloud. I think we will push higher to 180 in the next couple of days, but be aware that if it suddenly turns around, it's not a given, but I think we will see a 180, maybe even on 87. And Euro Swiss still in this wide range here between 93.30 and 95.20. So not much to say about that one. Dollar Swiss, there we are. That bounced off the support here at 89.65. Got rejected at the trend line there and the upper part of the cloud. However, we are still in a positive sentiment. RSI never closed below 40 threshold. But if we see if we see a dollar Swiss move back below 89.65, then it is likely we could see a negative sentiment, and it would certainly establish a bearish trend. If we can get back above 91, then I think we'll see a push towards 92. And on the dollar index bounced from the 106.42 key support and the 100 moving average also there. You can see also the lower cloud part area. However, we are in a negative sentiment on the RSI, indicating lower levels, and we are already, you know, lower lower high, lower low. So we are in a negative or in a bearish trend already. It's just about will it continue or will it bounce back. Gold is pushing higher. Correction was fairly low, fairly minor, and pushing higher this morning, and it is now eyeing 2,983. It's this 176 for projection of the latest larger correction here. So 3,000 is not unlikely to be reached for now. There is divergence building up on the RSI, but still trust the trend, and we are pushing higher here on gold. On silver also seems to finally having its mojo back, and we're pushing higher towards 34 here the next few days. And we can also here add a rising trend line from these levels here. You see there we have a rising trend line to keep an eye on. So a bullish move there. Also on copper on the other hand, it lives its own life really. We are in a correction phase, but could turn around here. Didn't get all the way down to 450. There's still a risk of doing that, but on the bigger picture, we are in a bullish trend and likely higher levels to be seen in the coming days and weeks. On the energy side, well, we have the WTI, well, finding some support here around $70. That seems to be a key level for WTI. You can see here just above it, bouncing here. Still a little bit indecisive. I mean, it's trading sideways out of the cloud, so it's not really that a clear signal or anything. Hovering around the 55 and the 100 moving average. They're slightly rising, but the 200 is declining, so we could be locked in here between 70 and 75 for quite a bit. Brent Crude on 74.10 key support area, and we could be locked in here between that level and the 77.50 level. Dutch gas on the other hand really has been on the move lately. Big correction down to the 786 retracement at 46.64, where we are trading at the moment. Still RSI positive, hasn't closed below 40, so that's what we need to keep an eye on. Will it do that or not? If it moves, if the European gas moves back below 45 and back below the cloud here and back below the 100 moving average, well, then it could be totally collapsed there. But if it starts moving back above the rising trend line and back above 51, 52, well, then I think we will see uptrend to resume. Hub gas, while I've been away, then it really has moved higher back above $4. We talked about it Tuesday morning that could be the case, and a little bit of setback here this morning, but strong bullish trend for now. Positive sentiment on the RSI indicating likely higher levels. On to yields, and the US 10-year yields, well, it is still in this range between 465 and 440. Maybe tighter and tighter, that remains to be seen, but 465 is the key resistance to look out for. Remove this one. Negative sentiment on the RSI indicating we could see a push maybe to test 440, but the 100 moving average coming up giving some support, so we could still be locked in here, and the 55 moving average also pushing higher. So it is a bit uncertain at the moment. I favor the upside, but I want confirmation on 465 to be taken out. The 2-year back below 430, so it's flirting in this area here. However, higher high, higher low, higher high, possibly. So let's see. Positive sentiment on the RSI indicating we are likely to push higher. On the European yields, you can see here pushing higher. Also again yesterday opening also above 255, 254 yesterday, this morning here. We are above the 786 retracement. We are in a positive sentiment. We could see a push to test the 259, 260 up here, possibly higher. The UK yields also slowly crawling higher now, back above 460, and we could see a push higher to 470 here in the coming days. On the crypto and Bitcoin, still forming this triangle-like pattern here on the Bitcoin. I want to see a breakout for possibly direction. It is not such a clear triangle really, but nevertheless it can give you a good guidance for what's going on. So I would be a little bit cautious for the direction at the moment. In the bigger picture, we just basically traded sideways for a couple of months now. Ethereum is also dancing sideways, seems to find some support here in 2800 area, and needs to break out for direction. All right, that's all for today. Have a nice day and talk to you again later.